What is good, everyone? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to another PE Nintendo Switch news video, ninjas. Today we have some awesome information for you, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So the official Secret of Mana Twitter account has shown an official clip of Seiken Densetsu 3 running on the Nintendo Switch. That is the Japanese name for the franchise, of course, Secret of Mana. So this is actually pretty freaking sweet. This game never launched in the Western territories, and many of you ninjas know out there that I am a huge Secret of Mana fan. It was one of the games that really brought me to RPGs. I remember growing up back in the day, and my brother would actually play Secret of Mana, and I remember him saying something like, hey, we can play this game together, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. An RPG game that you can play together? And I remember playing Multitap with one of his friends, my brother, and me. So it was like the first RPG that I can think of where the developer said not only can one person play and of course have fun like a normal RPG, but if you got some buddies around, you can play, and the game was still fully functioning, still ran really well. It was awesome. It was completely unique and revolutionary. So Secret of Mana always has a special place in my heart. But if we were able to get this one here in the stateside for the first time ever, Western territories, I think that would be amazing. And the fact that they got it running on Switch is so nice. Let's just hope that the virtual console is really gearing up and getting ready for launch sometime. I would probably think that it's going to be a summer thing. I think that would be great to bring out after Splatoon. Maybe you have a little bit of a gap to when the next big first party release goes, and that's when you really launch the virtual console, and you launch it right, not just with a few titles or not just like with just a few games here and there, but you launch it with a nice slew of games to where it gets people really excited. Because the one thing that I've noticed about virtual console, I'm not such a stickler about games that are old and people that are getting mad about not being able to play the same games that they've already purchased multiple times. But if you are going to launch a virtual console, you need to make sure it launches with a number of games, and I just don't think that was available for Nintendo at the launch of the system when it comes to March 3rd. But I feel if they wait just like they're doing and they launch it in the summer with a nice amount of titles, I think it would create more of an impact. And if you have stuff like this that never released outside of Japan, I think that would be really cool. Now, of course, there needs to be a translation and all that, but we'll see if that actually ends up happening. But I just think it's cool that they actually have this game up and running on the Nintendo Switch and they're showing it off on their official Twitter account. I think that's awesome. So let me know what you guys think about that. Listen to your virtual console thoughts. When do you feel Nintendo's going to launch the service? How many games are you looking to have, and what are they going to do as far as the whole transfer things? I know they're going to do something to where you get like a discount if you transfer it over or something like that. I'm not really sure. Give me all your thoughts on that in the comment section below. All right, I'm moving on to the last article here. We have more of an elaboration on Capcom and Nintendo working together in order to increase the RAM of the Nintendo Switch, specifically this time for the RE engine, and how Nintendo said, yeah, we're going to listen to you, and what other third-party developers were saying. So this comes from a games industry feature in Japan. So Nintendo and Capcom discussed Switch's performance and specs. It was important for Nintendo as a platform to gather opinions from various developers. Capcom said the main memory space, RAM, wasn't sufficient. This was due to Capcom's RE engine. In the end, the memory space of the Nintendo Switch is exactly the same as Capcom requested. This means Nintendo increased the original plan considerably based on what Capcom and other devs said. Capcom is looking into porting the RE engine to the Nintendo Switch by attempting to optimize it to operate in a low power state. It is necessary to make the engine capable of corresponding to two different performance modes, docked and portable. It is not an easy task, but they would like to put effort to achieve it. So this is actually really cool, and some of you guys might be saying, well, didn't we already talk about this and how Capcom wanted to or helped Nintendo and said that they should do this? But here's the thing, this time is specifically for the RE engine, so they're looking to bring over Resident Evil games to the Nintendo Switch. This article actually goes more in depth into them actually saying, yes, this was for the RE. This is for the RE franchise. This is the reason why we needed it. So really cool stuff there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Capcom does, because I'll say this, like with the Nintendo Switch, I don't know what Nintendo's original plan was for the Nintendo Switch when it comes to RAM. I thought that it would be 3 gigabytes, but something tells me that it might have been a little bit lower than that, maybe 2.5 they were thinking of that, and maybe the OS takes around 0.5 gigabytes, and then developers have 2 gigabytes of RAM to work with, which would be 1 more gigabyte of RAM than the Wii U had, and for a portable device, I guess that's really good. However, when you're playing that in a home console, and you're trying to get those home console ports, maybe that wasn't good enough for a lot of Capcom's and other people's games, so therefore Nintendo increased it. But I think that's the biggest thing here that's different from the Wii U to the Nintendo Switch. I don't think Nintendo consulted anybody when they talked about the Nintendo Wii U and how much RAM it was going to have and what type of OS it was going to use and what type of architecture it was going to have. I think Nintendo just created a system that they felt like creating, and then all of a sudden they said, hey, develop for it. And many people said, no, we're not going to develop for it. No, we're not going to develop for this system because it's not in our plans. It's not what type of architecture we want to use. We can't port over stuff easier. We don't like this. Some developers did like it. They wanted to develop for it, but a lot of them didn't. So I think with the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo had a very unique opportunity to gather all the different opinions from developers out there. Many of the developers said, we don't want to have to develop for your home console and your portable. Many developers said, we need more RAM. We need a faster, better OS. We need a better architecture. And I think Nintendo really had to consider so many different things in order to make the Nintendo Switch what it is. And definitely it is not easy to make this type of system, Nintendo Switch. A lot of people like to just brush off what it's doing, but trust me guys, based on who I've spoken to, when it comes to things, it is not easy to make that type of system, make everything work, and be able to make home console and a portable all put into one, make it affordable, make it to where it's still powerful, also making it to where it's easy to develop for and to where any developers can easily get like dev kits for cheap prices. So that's one thing that's really important here, and I think that them increasing the RAM amount to what I think it's 4 gigabytes of RAM, I think that's the RAM that's in the Nintendo Switch, that's very good, should be able to handle the RE engine at this point and many other engines out there. And we're seeing a lot of stuff that we didn't see before on Nintendo systems. We are seeing some type of games like Skyrim. We're going to be seeing Resident Evil and other titles being put over to the Nintendo Switch, but it is just going to take a little bit of time. And not only that though, we need to make sure that there is a very good release lineup. One thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to run into the same thing as the Wii U, which I always say this, especially to the third-party warriors out there, everyone who says, oh, well, Nintendo needs to have all these third-party games right at this point. I just want to say, look back at the Wii U, guys. The Wii U quite possibly had the greatest launch of third-party games for a Nintendo system ever. Seriously, it beats the Super Nintendo. I'm not even sure if the N64 had a third-party game at launch. Beats the Wii. It beats so many games out there, and all the people out there that were saying Nintendo needs to have these third parties, Nintendo needs to have these third parties, none of those dudes bought those third-party games and bought a Wii U at launch and said, oh well, yeah, Nintendo needs third parties, but I'm okay with buying them on my PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. So Nintendo really needs to make sure that they work with these developers in order to space these titles out and get them into certain time slots to where they can do well, get them away from certain bigger games, and just make sure that it fits when they release. And I think that's what they're going to do with a lot of these different titles, and they're going to make sure that they're able to put the DLC and put the stuff on there a lot easier, because one of the big things that third-party developers apparently complained to Nintendo about, and Reggie Fils-Aimé was very exact and very direct when he said this, as far as creating a platform to where third-party developers can easily make and create DLC and release it on there, because apparently there were issues when it comes to DLC and post-launch content on the Nintendo Wii U and of course on the 3DS, being able to put that stuff on there. So the Nintendo Switch is definitely a departure from that. Developers can easily put DLC and release post-launch content. So I think with the Nintendo Switch, you are going to see a difference when it comes to that. So I'm looking forward to what Capcom has to offer on the Nintendo Switch. I do know that I would like to see quite a number of games. Resident Evil 7 obviously is one of the games. I still have not picked that up at this point. If there was a Nintendo Switch version, I think that would be great to play on the go, portable horror. That'd be awesome, man. And I think there's lots of other games that they can bring out. They can bring out Resident Evil collection games. How about Resident Evil 4 and 5? 4, 5, and 6 all on one. I think that would be cool. There could be lots of stuff that they can bring out to the Nintendo Switch in order to just catch up on certain things. Maybe even bringing over some of the Resident Evil games, the Umbrella Chronicles, with the Joy-Con pointer action. I think that would be cool as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you ninjas for the next video. Peace!